American football. Negative on European football. Fire at will.
It's time for football. Red, white, and you. Today, our investigative reporter takes you from the French Lady to the French Quarter, from the Golden Gate to the Georgia Dome, and points in between. In 3.
And cue the reporter.
2.
And now.
1.
Hello, and welcome. In a postseason bereft with drama, it has been the vaunted position of the NFL quarterback that has yielded the most unlikely of controversies. We've witnessed the uncharacteristically distraught and unshaven Drew Brees apparently caught camped out on his coach's street curb until Sean Payton had physically re-signed with the Saints. Then there's the recent revelations that Tim Tebow had been told he'd already been traded 5 times in this short postseason, only to discover the NFL coaches had simply been sharing him to do their chores. But then it briefly seemed our age of ubiquitous cameras might lend aid to a few QBs. Alex Smith was partially exonerated from reports of his missing a full pre-Super Bowl practice, when footage surfaced supporting his claim that while shopping for his kid, he stubbed his toe, allowing others to unexpectedly cut in front of him. But in fact, the fires of controversy had yet to be fully stoked. From the unbelievable and likely fake footage of Chad Henne throwing numerous perfect spirals, to the equally unbelievable Mark Sanchez driving bumper cars at a local carnival without rear-ending a single other player. But perhaps the most jarring controversy is to be found in the shocking hidden camera revelations of Atlanta's Matt Ryan, captured during technical difficulties at a post-game press conference. Well, tonight we'll take you only blocks away from the Georgia Dome for his first sit-down interview since his several slips of the tongue. There, with our local correspondent Garrett Foster, is the man himself.
Matt, this year you pulled off your first playoff victory.
I know. Trust me, I'm just as surprised as anyone. I mean, I was running the plays that were called, and I never even bothered to look at the scoreboard till it was over. And then I looked around and noticed my teammates were actually happy.
Well, were you really shocked? Seriously?
Well, not at the time, not really. Then I finally convinced somebody to go to the booth, and turns out the scoreboard was correct. So we ended up actually winning, and I was absolutely floored.
Okay, well, you know that we have to ask you about the footage of you after the Tampa Bay thing.
That was just a thing somebody made up on YouTube.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, because you realize that all the cameras were actually on, right? We had you on 4 different angles. You know what? Never mind, forget it. That's neither here nor there. One recent rumor, though, that has troubled a number of folks is a report on how into fantasy football you've become.
Well,
and many would say, and nobody's alleging that there's anything about money or gambling or...
No, of course not. Anybody who knows me...
Exactly. But just the idea that your recreational pursuits are potentially in conflict with the game.
Well, I'm not the only one by far, and to me, it's just for fun. I enjoy and I appreciate all the great talents that are around me and that I play against. I'm able, I try to predict their outcomes, that's it.
I guess where I'm going here is it true that you play on this huge roster fantasy league, but you don't have yourself or any other member of the Falcons on your own team?
Why are we shooting this in your garage?
They didn't want you in the studio for some reason. I thought it best not to ask any questions.
The rest of the interview didn't yield much useful information, but in the process of conducting this one-on-one, we learned a lot about Mr. Ryan. He has some issues only he can address, but he also bought us cupcakes afterwards. A real class act.
Thanks for watching.